Morning, campers. Coffee time. I've run out. So, hope you're doing well. What date is it? This year's going crazy. It's the 5th of January. And yesterday, Elon Musk tweeted, I'm still calling it tweets, you can't say X'd, posted, "We have entered the singularity." What does he mean by that? Well, on the surface, it means that AI is getting to the point where it's well, it already is. I mean, most of you know that AI has been around for millions of years anyway. But, this is all about the public-facing information. And why this is important is because Elon, the character, who, by the way, that's the same name as the ruler of Mars from a book written about 60 years ago. Can't remember who by, but no coincidences. We have entered the singularity. What does it mean? AI is at the point in the public eye where it's going to advance coding, that's the surface story, to such a level that it's going to accelerate everything. So I think it's being used as the cover story for releasing information about the technological advances that have been hidden from us. What do I mean by that? Well, just watch this quick video here, and this might not stick with me. This is from 2 years ago.
Donald Trump is a time traveller.
I said Donald Dump. Yeah, could be. Donald Trump is a time traveller. I made that video. I've reposted it on X. I'll put a link below this video over two and a bit years ago. And I was prompted to share that again because I watched a great video this morning by my age. Is it my age, or am I just an idiot? Probably. And somebody will be posting, "Don't call yourself an idiot." It's a joke. It's called English depreciating humour. Anyway, so Bull Runner. That's it. A guy called Bull Runner posted a really good video saying the same thing, which links Donald Trump back to his uncle John G. Trump, who was a professor at MIT, who, and this is not easy to find on the internet, but I read this quite a few years ago, that John G. Trump contacted Nikola Tesla after Nikola Tesla had posted a paper about time travel. And I believe John G. Trump worked with Tesla for a number of years. He wasn't just the guy. The official story is that he was the guy who went into the Tesla's safe and had to go through all the papers for the CIA and the FBI and whatever other three-letter agencies were trying to look for that. And I don't believe any of that's true. I think that John G. Trump was working with Tesla and they became time travelers. How do I know that? Well, go to IngersollLockwood.com. IngersollLockwood.com is named after the guy that wrote the books in 1896, I think. The Last President was one of them, and the other one was I can't remember what it's called, but it's the amazing time traveling adventures of Baron von Trump. And The Last President is all about Baron von Trump's friend Don Jr. from New York, who becomes the last president. Now, if you go and type into X Donald Trump, the last president, you'll find a lot of this stuff, and it's worth looking into if you're interested. I don't know why you wouldn't be, but not everybody is. You'll also find stuff about Ingersoll Lockwood and those books, but you'll also see, if you dig deep enough, you'll see clips. There's lots of clips of Trump himself over the last 8 years saying there'll be no more elections. This is your last one. And you'll see Elon Musk actually giving a talk about there not being any more elections in the future. Does that sound scary? Well, is it? Because I did a post yesterday that's had about 50,000 views on X saying, look, the British state has to be dismantled. If you've been watching Promethean Action, which is a very interesting and very good, although a little bit too based in 3D for my liking, but still very good. They're pointing out, and their channel's grown exponentially in the last year, because this is two women mainly, there's a team of them, but they've been at this since the 60s, pointing out the fact that all roads lead back to Britain and the British establishment controlling everything via a spider's web across the planet. mean, the genius of Britain as a story is that they use countries as excuses to do things. Like in Ireland, for example, it was the British that came in, and yeah, they used the British Army to come in and keep these troubles going and dividing the country. Really, that's spiritual. And they used the British so that you've got this divide and conquer thing going on all the time. But really, it's who's behind them, who's controlling everything, who's pulling the strings. And that's what everybody's got to do is understand this, and that what we're seeing on the surface is a story being played out that is waking people up to the future that we're going into, which is, in my opinion, beyond our wildest dreams. But we've got to go through this pain. It's just the way it is. I mean, personally, I'm going through lots of limitations and spiritual lessons. I mean, I was watching David Wilcock, so I can't resist. I know he sounds like Kermit when I do it, but he does sound like Kermit to me. And David Wilcock, there's lots you could say about David Wilcock, but he's actually put out tons of really good stuff. I particularly like his book on the hero's journey, but I do quite enjoy watching him, even though he's always moaning about his personal circumstances. And, I'd sometimes talk about my personal circumstances, not to be a pity party, but to, to relate to any of you watching what I talk about, to let you know that you're not the only one going through it, because a lot of us are going through continuingly deeper levels of spiritual development. But he said a thing that really struck me last night, and that was that we are going through a keyhole, and that's exactly what it feels like for me right now. It's like we're being squeezed through this tiny hole, and all the last bits of shit that we have to let go of are being let go of as we go through that. And it's a very personal journey, actually. And my job is not to tell you the future or preach to you or tell you that I know everything, because I don't. It's really just to be a bridge for anybody that's going through similar things, just to let you know you're not the only one going through it, because it's a lonely journey, and I understand that, and it is for me too. Even though I'm surrounded by loving people and friends and family, it's still a very personal journey that we're going through. But you've got to keep looking out for the clues, right? So one of the clues that I just found this little clip of Trump on board Air Force One gaggling with the press. This is on the White House's official. Hopefully this camera's going to pick it up, but just listen to this.
But it helps to have a force like we have. We were ready for a second wave. We were all set to go, but we don't think we're going to need it.
There's about 17 billion worth of oil reserves in Venezuela. Is that going to be...
You mean trillion?
And is that going to be something...
You say billion or trillion?
I said billion.
You said 17 billion?
You see? I mean, there should be a comedy award for Donald Trump. He is... I mean, on the surface, even people who hate him have to admit he is the funniest president in history. But, she's smiling at him there, like an actor in a sitcom who's just corpsed, because he's saying, did you say 17? 17 billion? Billion or trillion? 17. The video I did yesterday was completely accidentally 17 minutes and 17 seconds. I saw on the screen that it said 17 minutes, but by the time I'd stopped, I didn't edit it. I didn't even look at it, but people were pointing out in the comments, 17. These things are not accidental, right? Everything you're seeing when President Trump gaggles with the press on Air Force One, it's all scripted. In the same way that all the messages that are in the movies are totally scripted. Not just the script, not just the words the actors say, but every prop is leaving clues. A lot of the things we see in movies, you have to freeze, you could be a complete geek, freeze frame it, go and look at the gematria, go and look at the meanings of these things. It's all hidden because we're in a matrix. So when Musk, the other thing that's interesting about that interview there with Trump is he talks about the helicopter going in and getting Maduro, I'm always saying his name wrong, please forgive me, Maduro and his wife. there's a couple of really interesting things about that whole Venezuelan operation. Firstly, the resistance was extremely small. He talks about helicopters being shot. Okay, of course, that's bound to happen. But they literally just went in, grabbed them, and left. Right? The story doesn't add up. It is a psyop, right? But it's a psyop, I believe, and I know people will disagree with this, but it's a psyop as part of the waking up of the world's population about what's really going on and who's really been in control. That whole Venezuelan thing has nothing to do with oil. There's tons of people going, oh, it's all to do with oil. That's just surface level, right? That's not what it's about. Trump has said a million times, there's enough oil in America. The thing about oil is it's an endless resource. It's not a limited resource. That's the big con about oil. Even when I was a kid in school, they told us the oil would run out within 10 years when I was 10 years old, which is about 40 years ago. So you know what I mean? It's bullshit. And I think that's what's coming out. Venezuela is really about the waking people up to the election fraud, not just in America, but worldwide, and that is all going to come out very soon, I believe. And he's going to sing like a canary now he's in New York. But Maduro, if you notice, changed outfits 4 times on the way to prison. Who gets to do that? And there's a picture of him doing this when he's cufflinked. Not cufflinked. Cufflinked? No, that's what you put on shirts, isn't it? No, when he's handcuffed. Because he's part of the show. 100%. Everything you're seeing is part of the show. Everything's already been done at the top level. Whilst we're going through the spiritual processes on an individual level, and the clues are there. In his debriefing or his press conference the other day, I think I mentioned this the other day, but I'll say it again. He talked about the lights going out, right? They have this due to a special thing that they have. Well, he's basically revealing technology. The technology to turn the lights out, the blackout. Is he foreshadowing the fact that this is how the blackout that a lot of us have been expecting, 10 days of darkness? I don't know. I'm not predicting the future. I'm just saying it's interesting that he's revealing that they have the technology to completely black out a city like that, which is very interesting. He's also talking multiple times about America having technology way beyond what anybody else has got, having the strongest military on earth. And these are the small reveals, along with Elon. They're revealing these things for those that have eyes to see, because we are indeed surrounded by technology that's way beyond our wildest dreams. So we have to be led to it in a way that unlocks our consciousness, because our levels of consciousness have been imprisoned so successfully. Look at COVID. If he'd come out and said, this is a bioweapon and it's going to kill everybody, he'd have been taken down immediately. This is why we have to remember this is a spiritual war. It's a spiritual evolution that we're going through, and so many people are still locked into the 3D version of events. There was a post I read yesterday from somebody that said, this is all about oil. It's just the same as Iraq and Kuwait and all these other places. The person that wrote that post doesn't understand that actually Iraq was all about Gilgamesh. It's all about portals and control of these portals. I myself have been involved with people that, or not involved with people, but have met people, have communicated with people, have, I suppose I've been involved with them, but not on a deep level, whose job it has been to corral people like me and take our energy, feed off our energy, and see if we have codes and information within us that help the bad guys reveal the secrets about the portals. Now, the portals are critical to all of this stuff, and you're going to have to dig into it yourself, because I haven't got that long to make a detailed video about it today, because I'm still dealing with boiler problems and broken cars and other things, day-to-day stuff, all of which, by the way, I do not say feel sorry for me. I say it because you may experience this has happened a lot over the last 5 years, but you may experience things like obstacles, annoying obstacles. Those things are all part of the matrix as well. And what I mean by that is that the effect of not having a car, not having heat, not having hot water really in the house, for me, has been that I've had to slow, right, and not sleeping. I slept for 12 hours last night. I woke up this morning thinking, oh, firstly, I was so grateful to have slept because I just couldn't sleep for 2 days. Firstly, I thought I was grateful for that. Secondly, I thought it was about 7 a.m. It was 11:30. And then I'm like, oh my God, I've missed half the day. And I never sleep in that late. But I had over 12 hours sleep. And I also had visions last night that were pretty astounding. I might do a video about those separately because it's a big subject. The visions. So if you're having these obstacles in your way, it's because you're being told, actually, slow down, go inside, and keep looking in there and keep being calm in the storm, because there's no question this year. I know a lot of people can say this year doesn't start until the 1st of April. I know that. The year of the fire horse doesn't actually start until February the 17th. Yeah, pay attention. I know that, but this year, 2026, as it appears to us, we're still letting go of things. The year of the snake hasn't finished yet for at least 5 weeks. So we're still going to be shedding stuff, and we're still going to be getting hit hard in the face with spiritual lessons that are essential for our preparedness for where we're going. But, the clues are all around us. And I'll end it here and just wish you all, as usual, have a beautiful day. Do your best. Keep going, and God bless you.